welcome to my podcast, Spiritual Quest, with me, your host, Reawaken, always guided by Spirit. I am very excited to share my gift with you and empower you to embrace your gift. So if you define yourself as a spiritual human being, then you've come to the right place. So prepare yourself now for an amazing journey where your soul will lead the way. Hello, and welcome to a new episode. And not only that, it's not only a new episode, it's a new season of the Spiritual Quest podcast, always guided by Spirit. Yes, we're actually moving with the current, and we're now about to allow a new wave of high frequency energies to lift us and to support us on our human journeys. And together, we'll raise our frequencies, we'll stay grounded in our physical bodies and grounded in our power, and we will anchor ourselves in what Zarius and the Order of Seven calls the dimension of unity. So what I'm about to share with you today might challenge you and your beliefs a little bit, but I hope you choose to listen with an open heart and allow the energy of what I'm presenting and sharing to be the power and to inspire you and to light you up. So in this season, I'm guided to share knowledge, wisdom, and insight about the importance of the human journey as a soul or through a soul perspective, which means we need to reawaken to the power within and the power of the universe so that we can start to speak with grace and gratitude and feel that gratitude for the life we have, you as well, from your soul chosen in this life. So when I requested Spirit to help me find the right person to start out this conversation about reawakening to the power of the universe, the answer was pretty much crystal clear. So Zarius and the Order said, you are, which means I am, their channel. So, therefore, I'm allowing loving guidance from Zarius and the Order of Seven, and I'm about to invite you on a real life adventure where the soul leads the way. You might only know me as a podcast host, but that is only one of my many passions in life. So when I thought about how to introduce myself as I'm doing this episode, I was thinking, okay, so how do I want to define myself? Because I am a multidimensional human being, as you will discuss more in detail. And I wanted to find something that could encompass all of me, that I could embody all of my passions and what was my purpose or my calling in life, or what I feel is my calling. And so I decided to define myself as a New Earth strategist, podcast producer and host, and of course, channel for the high frequency energies, Zarius and the Order of Seven. And I've been doing this work as a spiritual coach, if you wish, for 15 years. And I've devoted my time to assist and support light workers, torchbearers, and visionaries that are on a mission to help them create sustainable growth in their life. And that's been a huge passion of my life. And I'm still doing that to this day. But since childhood, I've also had contact with energies from different dimensions. And my spirit guide Zarius has been a very strong influence in reawakening me to discover my ability to channel so that I today can share wisdom, insight, and knowledge about the spiritual human being through my work as both a spiritual coach, speaker, channel, podcast producer, you name it, many passions in life and many labels. But I'm also trained as a master NLP coach and life between lives hypnotherapist. And I'm at this moment in time producing and co-hosting the Discover Life Between Lives Wisdom podcast series, which is presented by the Michael Newton Institute. And you might have read Dr. Michael Newton's books, Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls. So this is my second family, if you wish. M&I community, and I'm grateful to be able to be their producer and co-host for their podcast as well. So why am I so passionate about human potential to transform energy into higher frequencies? Well, I look at myself as a seeker of the truth, and there's many layers to a truth, as many layers to the truth as there's perspectives, right? So I'm talking about the universal truth. And I believe that the only way we can live a fulfilling life or a soul-led life is to be true to who we are. Only then can we fulfill our soul's purpose and truly be what the Order calls channels of love. So my spiritual quest has been one of growth and transformation, and it will continue to be this way. I will continue to grow, and I grow every time I have a new podcast guest. I learn something new through a different perspective, and I will continue to do so for as long as I'm on this human journey. So I hope that by me sharing my story of a soul-led life, I can inspire you to live your life with an open heart and embrace your authentic voice. You know, through living our lives with authenticity and purpose, we will discover the power of living a soul-led life. So I'm deciding to set the tone for this episode by starting out and sharing a message from my spiritual team, Zarius and the Order of Seven. So let's do that right now. Dear friends from around the world, this is Zarius. I address you today to remind you of your purpose for being on Mother Earth today. You made a choice, my friend, to come to Mother Earth and to experience the enlightenment of your soul. As a human being, you acknowledge that there is more to you than what meets the human eye, for you have experienced this, and lately in a more profound way. And as I speak here with you today, I want to remind you of that power, the power of freedom that will allow you to be free, the power of creation that will allow you to create what your heart and soul desire, and the power of love that will lift your experience as a human being to a new level of understanding and bring you back into oneness. You are here, my friend, to live the life of the divine creation. And how to create is fully your responsibility as a human being. And knowing how to surrender to your true essence is of great importance if you are choosing a life of love, a life of support and gratitude for all life, a life filled with the acknowledgement of oneness. In unity, my friends, the energy of vibration of what you bring forward will strengthen. The wave of love and light will bring healing to those who need this vibrational attunement. When you choose to find your own voice, to sing your song, to speak with your organic voice, then, my friend, the creation, the strength, the power will filter through you and allow you to become a channel of love. So I invite you, my friend, to open your heart, to allow the reconnection, to strengthen your personal guidance system through your soul, and to allow it to shine upon your path as you move forward. And to remind yourself that you are, my friend, soul, energy in motion. Powerful words by Zarius, my spirit guide. I think I want to start by just sharing a little bit about what I want to cover today in this episode. Like I said, this season of the Spiritual Quest podcast will dive into reawakening to the power of the universe. And there's a reason for this. Like I said, the energy, the wave of energy that is now available to everyone who's seeking within and connecting and reconnecting with their soul, or even rediscovering their soul and the power that we carry within, will feel that shift or feel that wave of universal power. It's all energy, and it's lifting us and it's bringing us up and allowing and actually serving our soul's purposes and serving our soul's calling by lifting us and helping us and supporting us in new perspectives so that we can evolve and grow and expand as souls and human beings. So it's a very exciting time this year, 2023, for us to really tune inward and reconnect and rediscover the power that we carry within and be that co-creator for the divine, and to start creating what our heart and soul desires. So today I want to share a few stories about how I've allowed myself to be guided and how I have come to raise my vibration frequency and to embrace all of me and to allow the guidance of spirit. Because all of this is something we as human beings need to embrace. We need to open ourselves up. And if we're very stuck in the 3D way of living, where we're used to expectations and living the way other people find is the right way to live, and we're losing or we're moving off our path, it can really create blockages and lower vibrations, keeping us imprisoned in lower dimensions and lower frequencies, which we are not supposed to be there. We're free spirits, we're soul, energy in motion. Our divine gift is freedom, and it's up to us to find that freedom within the human experience. And by doing that, we are not supposed to look outward. It is not where we're going to find our freedom. We will always look at life as human beings through duality, through what is right or wrong, what is light or darkness, what is freedom or imprisonment. We will always feel separate or feel the separateness from who we truly are and what is our divine right if we keep looking and outside ourselves. So today, I want this episode to help you to shut out that world and kind of re-examine or refocus inward to get to know your four bodies, if you wish, your spiritual body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your physical body, and to allow that to be aligned so that you can be a channel of love. And that's why I'm going to bring some perspectives, or my perspectives, and not only that, my perspectives, but what I've channeled from Zarius The Order 7. And I've actually lived this. I think I've done all the mistakes in the book. If there was a book about this is a mistake, you should not do this, I think I've done that when it comes to the spiritual practices. But that's how you learn. And I want to share some of that story with you today. It's very personal and quite a bit vulnerable, but I'm ready. I'm ready to share my authentic voice, and I'm ready to embrace fully who I am and to be truly guided by spirit and just allow what is coming forward to bring healing to everyone listening. So that is my intention for today, to be authentic and to be leading by example. And I'm going to talk about how important acceptance for who you are, acceptance for circumstances, acceptance of situations is important. And how we can transform that by shifting the way we look at the world, or how we show up in those situations as human beings. And we'll have to dive into how to trust. The trust is so important when it comes to opening up and allowing your authentic voice to be the strongest voice in you. Not the ego mind, not the ego voice, but the authentic voice where the soul speaks. And when you speak from that place, you're free. And that inspiring, empowering way of speaking is what brings healing, not only to your life, but to everyone around you. So speaking from the soul and meeting people soul to soul is very important, and trusting that what is being brought forward from that state is your gift to the world. And then we have to dive into the allowance. So we have to, when we're moving through the acceptance, we're moving into the trust and building that trust. We're then allowing ourselves and our energy and our souls to start leading the way. And as we open for the guidance of spirit, we also allow our support teams to come in and to assist us. And so we become co-creators with the universe. And that's when you truly can embrace your spiritual team, and it starts being fun to create. You're not by yourself, you're creating with your spiritual team. You have a higher mission, if you wish, and you're being guided, and you're feeling that it's your soul that is guiding you. And this incredible inspirational team, your spiritual team, is there to support you and cheer you on and to help you when you fall off track or you fall out of alignment. They're there for you, and you have that trust that even though you might not feel it in that moment because you're out of alignment, you still have that deep knowingness because you built that trust. You know that when you allow yourself to be guided, they're there, and you will shift and transform your energy quite fast. So that is what I want to share in this episode with you. And I want to start out by actually introducing my spiritual team, Zarius and the Order of Seven, for you. And I want to start by reading from my book. Let's see if you can see it right here. Awaken to the Power of the Universe. No coincidence that Zarius and the Order asked me to do this season and call it Reawakening to the Power of the Universe. There's a lot gone on since I channeled this book back in 2013, and it was published in 2014. And so the messages are still very much, the universal truth, and you will read it in other channeled books or other spiritual literature as well. So it's just different perspectives. And I want to share Zarius and the Order of Seven's perspective with you today. It's all anchored within the higher vibrations, and you will know why when we go through this. So let me start by introducing the order. So I'll start by reading what they said. I don't know if it was the first time they channeled, but very early on in my channeling career, if you wish. So they say, "We are all one. We ask you, dear friends, to seek the stillness and to feel the energy each of us brings to the whole. One. In this way, you will learn to activate this peace within yourself. Accept all parts of yourself, to see the value of wholeness, to be one." If you really take that in, it's really powerful. As we are moving through frequencies, we're lifting vibrations, we're moving into different dimensions. And I'm sure you've heard of ascension process, and many of us are moving into the 5D dimension, which the order calls the rainbow path, which we are on right now. And the movement from 3D over to dimension of unity, which is they call the 4D, is the light path. And as they're or telling me all this or channeling these messages for a group that I will talk about later, they're introducing themselves by their vibrations and frequencies. So as a channel, I can feel their vibration and frequency. And because they are allowing me to hold the energy, so I can, even though I'm not conscious of it, I'm in a deep trance, they are allowing, I can feel their essence as they are using my physical body and my mental body and my emotional body to bring forward messages. And so I want to start by just sharing a little bit about Zarius. So Zarius, like I said, is my spirit guide. And my first recollection of him is actually in my mother's womb. But as I have dived into my spiritual quest and I've opened myself up and I've gone beyond this life, I actually was brought back to Atlantis, where I was um, a student of Zarius. So he was my teacher, and he would be teaching me about the power of crystals and how to use different tools of nature that, or the elements that would assist in the vibrations of that planet, or of the planet and of the environment and of the unity or the co-creation between humans and the earth and the universe. And it was a very strong bond or created at that time. And that is the only time that Zarius has been on this planet. And so Zarya, he represents the energy of Zarius. So when he speaks, he's all about freedom. The soul being free to choose, the soul being free to follow the guidance and follow the soul's path. And it's all about lifting the way, the perspective of you and assisting you in releasing whatever that is keeping you in lower dimensions, reminding you of reconnecting to your spiritual team. So Zarius, he travels through dimensions and he connects energies or guardian angels and or spirit guides with their souls. And as their channel, I then can assist people coming to me to tune into their soul and to reconnect with their spiritual team. I always call on Zarius, so he brings that knowledge or connect with that spirit and allows that to flow through me. So Zarius is all about the freedom of flying high and learning how to trust the guidance of spirit. And then we have, in the order, we have Grogan. And Grogan is like an old wizard. He's a lot of fun to channel. Well, he was very difficult in the beginning to channel. My voice changed quite a bit. And so his energy is, to my physical body, can be a little heavy. It's not very light. It's more like I have to use a lot of my physical strength to allow that energy to come forward. And I know by being told by Grogan that he is the observer of all the light paths and the rainbow path, which means he's a very high frequency and he's having that overview of what's going on with the soul's journeys to different galaxies, different, like in the cosmos as a whole, the universe as a whole. And he sees all these light paths as grids, if you wish. So he can see light paths that are dimmed or is blacked out or is lighted up. And he can then help and assist in reignite those light paths. So he's the wizard of them all. So he can guide us when we're on our path, feeling maybe that we're off track. He will guide us to find our most powerful, where we're the purest in form as we are moving on our light path. And we all have free will, so it's very important. All of the order speaks um, with the with unconditional love, if you wish, so that you have that free will They do not intervene or interfere in any free will, except they have done with me, and I will share that story later on. And so something might be predestined, if you wish, when it comes to what your soul chose for this lifetime, and they might then help you to remember that and then intervene if you're really off track. But all souls have free will. And then you have Gloria. Oh, wow, Gloria. She's the most beautiful energy to channel. She's the unconditional love. She is the mother energy that just fills you up, that loves you unconditionally. She heals your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body. If you can get into that stillness and call on Gloria, she will suddenly just be there and embrace you, and you will feel that shift in energy. So she's all about helping you discover and reconnect with self love, to embrace that power within, so that you can open your heart and actually feel the connection with spirit and your spirit, so that the soul can fulfill its purpose and to move forward and create a meaningful life. And not only that, to live then a soul led life. So she is a very good energy that to have as you are moving through life, meeting difficulties, going through hardship in any way. And growth is hard. It's hard work. And that is why we are on earth. We are here to learn and to grow and to expand as souls. So it's important, at least for me, to be aware of all the support that we have, because it's so easy to get caught up in the distractions of the world and other energies that are not high frequency. And if you get taken by those energies, you're in your mind and you lose your grounding, and you're becoming lower in vibration, moving into what we call the victim mode, and the ego mind is then controlling or trying to control your every move, and trying to force what you want to happen to your life. And that's not how it works. So you'll become blocked, and you will find yourself moving into darkness and the dark night of the soul most often. And I do have a story about that as well. I think we all, as humans, have experienced our dark nights of the soul in some way, shape, or form. And then you have Ikna. Ooh, Ikna, he can trigger your ego, and he does it well knowing as or knowing it that he's triggering your ego. He has a great sense of humor, and he's always really a straightforward, straight shooter. He tells it as it is, with sort of like a sarcastic tone sometimes, but not in a bad way. It is a way where he can make you become aware of the ego mind controlling the situation, or controlling the conversation that you have with Ikna. So he's very into um, mirroring or what you are presenting or what you're putting forward in within your questions. So the energy behind your words is very clear to Ikna, and he deciphers that. He sees what you are truly expressing through your four bodies. He knows, and he knows how that is affecting your physical body, and he's bringing that to the forefront for you to acknowledge, or for me to acknowledge, when things are not in alignment. So he resonates, I would say he resonates with the solar plexus, the mental processes of being human. So he's a great energy with a great sense of humor, to bring difficult conversations and to help you release those, to free yourself from those limitations and patterns keeping you stuck. And then we have Impala. Impala is um, I feel that energy as a more masculine. So that's why I refer to these energies like feminine or masculine. They're non-gender, of course, but it's more the how I interpret their energy as they come forward. So Impala is in between the masculine and feminine, but leaning towards the masculine. And it's all about the unity between humanity, Mother Earth, and all her creatures. And then the elements comes in here. And so that he talks about how we as spiritual human beings with different journeys on different planets, we have soul resources, and he wants us to awaken to the understanding of that oneness that we have with all life, that we are all one. And he often comes forward and speak in symbolism when it comes to nature beings, and he's an advocate for the earth elements and the earth vibrations and beings, and is very grounding. Is his ability to pull us down into that feeling of being connected and tuning into the beauty of Mother Earth. And so I refer to him as someone you can feel and express within your sacral. So the energy is very loving and very aware or protective of the elements of Mother Earth's nature beings in all shapes and forms, and will bring that to the forefront and remind us of how we are all one and how we must live in tune. That when we sabotage or we destroy the environment, that we are truly destroying ourselves. So it's all about the perspective of living as one and the respect we need to have for each other, our journeys, as well as respect for nature beings and nature itself. And like we see, if we do not respect the elements let us know, right? And Impala is very good at acknowledging these call it natural disasters that happens in the world, and describes what is going on in the back end of it, the energy behind it, and the energy that is creating and the reason for it, energy wise, what is going on. And then you have Inspiria, and I think it's in the name where she likes us to refer to her as in spirit. So Inspiria, she is all about igniting your passion in life. So if you feel like you're lost the joy, if you feel like you're out of alignment, you're not in tune with who you truly are, then the energy of Inspiria will help you reconnect with your passions. And sometimes that is very natural when we are children, that we were playful, we were joyful, we were more authentic ourselves. And she will remind us of how important it is to play, to be in contact with spirit, to actually move beyond our limits or the restrictions that we've either adopted or put on ourselves, and to be free, to remember to be in spirit, in spirit. So in spirit, we have to be in spirit, in ourselves, and then we have to allow that soul, that resource, our soul energy to come forward and to be authentic. And that way you will feel the joy, you will feel happiness, you will be more in tune with things that are going on in the world on a high vibration, so that you can be the healing force, not only in your own life, but for people around you and the environment, and of course the whole world, as we collectively raise the vibration and the wave becomes even higher and taller and bigger and greater. The energy of light and love will truly transform this planet and lift it into a new era, and it will ascend. And so Inspira is a very good energy to connect with through the root, making sure that you are a soul having a human experience. You have to, through your passions, open and discover how you can really be grounded as a soul in this body, so that you can fulfill and create the life your soul decided to take on in this life, to learn what you're supposed to learn, to raise your vibration, and to expand. And then the last energy I want to share with you, which is part of the order, is Tresna, or Mother Tresna. And I don't know if you can feel it, but every time I talk about Mother Tresna, I almost get teary eyed. She is, I would define her as my other mother. She is the energy of crystal light, energy of source from another dimension. And it's hard for me to find the words. Not only is not English my native language, but um, it's hard just to find words to describe these energies. Sometimes it's an experience. It's something that unfolds when you allow that energy to step forward. You become the oneness. I think that's the what she does with me. It's like I know I've had a life on Tresna. So Tresna is a planet. Tresna Imperium is a planet in another galaxy. And I just recently actually found out through another spiritual teacher who did a Akashic Records reading for me that Tresna Imperium is actually in the Trilingulum galaxy. I hadn't heard about that. So that was new to me, but very interesting. And all I can see is I know that Tresna is a planet that we created peace, we created love and harmony, everything that we wish for Mother Earth to raise into the 5th dimension and to transform into a new Earth is already been done with Tresna Imperium. So many of the souls that today reside on Mother Earth on a mission, if you wish, they have what Mother Tresna calls Tresninanence. It's a soul resource after being part of Tresna and bringing Tresna into what it is, like a masterpiece of unity where all beings live together in peace, where meaning all beings, meaning elements, meaning everything. And it's just a very light, beautiful, magical planet where our gifts are what we are living out. We don't have an ego mind. It's all pure. We're all soul, pure souls, pure essence. We are living our authentic self, the expression of the soul expansion or the soul's energy at that moment in time. And so I know that I've had a life on Tresna Imperium. So I'm very connected to Mother Tresna. And it was something that was so beautiful because we have to love, like I said, we have to love Mother Earth the way some of us were on Tresna loved Mother Tresna. The love, the unconditional love, is what will shift and transform the planet. It will, light precedes all darkness. So when we talk about love and light, it's not words, it's the energy behind the words that are being expressed through our 4 bodies. That is so powerful. That's our power. And when we come together through our soul purpose or whatever it is, or our mission, or we are following our soul's purpose. We're authentic, we're speaking, we're authentic voices. We are getting into what the Tresninanins called as the absolute of who you are, the absolute of who you are. It's just allowing free from any boundaries, your free spirit, and the only thing you do is being. And being in that beingness, it's difficult to have those words, right? You express the highest frequency, and that is what co-creating Mother Tresna and the beautiful space that Mother Tresna is. So Mother Tresna was a smaller planet with less people on it, but it was, we did it. We did it. So people, humans that are, or cosmic souls that many of us are, we've been or having lives on other planets, we can actually feel that. And so I can feel that every time I speak to Mother Tresna. So Mother Tresna really allows me to reconnect to Mother Earth, as she refers to as this her sister planet. And the crystals that were used on Tresna, I actually worked with Zarius at Atlantis to learn how to do this. So the next life I had on Tresna, actually I already had that knowingness of how to work with crystals and how to use the power of the crystals to lift the vibration. So it's part of it. We had to use the crystals as it was part of eh, the the essence of everything that was going on Tresna. Okay, so enough about Tresna. I will have to make a whole new episode about Tresna and what's going on Tresna and the Tresninins and how to find it out. So I'll do that on a later date. But so how do you, so let's see, where am I? So we're about to find our authentic voice as we are now accepting who we are. So acceptance, let me tell you a story. I said I would tell you this story when Zarius actually saved my life. And I was 18 years old. And when I was 15, I spent a year as a foreign exchange student in Canyon, Texas. And I wanted to go back and visit my host family and my friends. And so I had a friend at school here in Norway, and I asked her to join me, to come with me. So we traveled back to see my family, and we stayed at their house. And I remember this one time where we were going to the to the movies, and she was in the bathroom. She had to yeah, everyone knows what she had to. So why am I saying that? Anyway, she was on the bathroom and she was screaming, "Oh, I need toilet paper." And I was like, okay, I've lived here before. It was all empty. And I was like, I know where to find it. So no worries. And I was looking at the time, and I was rushing. And so I had to run through my host parents' room, and I couldn't find the light switch. I remember I was just, because I was running and I didn't have time to, I just tried to switch it on. I couldn't find it. So I kept on running until I did not run anymore. I hit a glass door in the middle of the room. And all I can remember is that my head hit the window, and the glass window, and I was pulled back, and my feet went through the glass door. And so I was suddenly on the floor, and I was looking up, and there was this huge glass hovering over me, and my feet were on one side of the glass door and my torso was on the other side. And without, this happened so fast, so I had to go through it and through it and through it so many times before I actually discovered what happened. And before I knew it, my feet were, or I was dragged over. I can't even remember if it was dragged. One moment I was laying there, and the next moment I was not. I was on the other side of the door, a glass door. And this huge piece of glass came crashing down. And if I hadn't been moved somehow, I would not be here today. I would have been gone. And I remember I was shocked. Of course, I ended up in the hospital, and talking about meeting friends, the person that actually picked me up in the ambulance, it was funny, actually funny, because I hadn't told any of my friends that I was coming over there to visit, because I wanted to surprise them. And this person who picked me up was one of my best friends. And I didn't know that he was working as an ambulance driver. And he picked me up, and he just got all pale. I remember he was like, "I can't believe it. I can't believe it." So it was traumatic for more than just me. So, but it was a happy ending to the story. But it wasn't until later when I really connected with Zarius, because I was 18. I was moving away from my track, and I was doing everything else that I wanted to do, partying, all that. I kind of lost my path in life, and I would have left that planet or Mother Earth at that moment if Zarius hadn't intervened. And he told me that this was one of these things that might have happened. It was not set in stone. It was up to me, because everything is free will. But he was aware that, or they were aware that this might happen. And so he's been with me my whole life, watched over me to make sure that I would get to this point in time where I'm now, when I'm sharing their knowledge, wisdom, and insight with the whole world. But before I got there, of course, I started to share it with, yeah, with a small group called the Torchbearers that the order introduced. But anyway, I want to start reading. I want to read from page 93 in my book. So let me see what that is all about. It's all about trust. And Ikna, remember Ikna? I told you about Ikna, the kind of sarcastic, direct, right on point energy. He says, you must act in the physical to experience the trust you have in your soul. Listen and then act. It will awaken the trust between you and your soul. And I think that's a very good point. I've been doing that now my whole life, trusting that whatever I feel intuitively is my next move, what I should be doing. I never make a decision until I've found that stillness where I reconnect with my soul, where I can actually feel if that is in tune with my soul's calling, if that is right for me, and then I trust that as I move forward. So finding your authentic voice means that you have to start trusting your ability to accepting who you are. And acceptance is, I think this goes, acceptance and trust is kind of intertwined, but first of all, allowing yourself to accept what is going on in your life, accept who you are there and then. And if there is a lot of limitations that many of us have through the life experience, it's important to be grounded in the acceptance of that, the circumstances and the situations and whatever is going on, that it's not that you're supposed to accept negative forces in your life, negative experiences. It has something to do with you moving through it by allowing the higher vibration, the higher parts of you, the soul, to lead you out of there so that your emotional body can release and be and release whatever is blocking you and creating disease in your physical body, and your mental processes, that whatever patterns that you are running that's creating these emotions and keeping you stuck, is you trust in the spirit, the spirit within, to shift the energy and allowing yourself to stand in those difficulties and choosing through intention, choosing love instead of fear, and choosing to see what lies behind, what's the higher purpose, always what is the higher purpose for what I am experiencing right now. It's super important for uncovering or discovering your authentic voice and trusting in that. So let's see, where are we? I wanted to read one more time from the book. So we'll see what page I should read. I think it's page 93, so I'm going to go for that. I just did that, so then I am going to go for the torchbearers. So now we're talking about trusting your abilities, your soul resources. I think that's a fun topic because many times we're questioning, what are my abilities? What are my talents? What are my, my gifts in this life? Usually you can look at your passions and you can go from there to see what comes naturally to you, what is sometimes comfortable, but it's just easy for you when you do it. It doesn't mean it's comfortable sharing it. It's just it's a flow. It's a natural state of being when you're doing what you're doing. It's usually a sign of a gift or a talent. And then the hard part is sharing it with the world, because that's when all our human fears come in. Afraid of not, be taken serious. And I know this for a fact because getting the gift as a channel, I thought, not growing up in a spiritual family, that my mother was a little bit spiritual, but I had no idea about what spirituality really was. I was interested because I've had experiences since I was a child, but they were just organic in me. It was just natural to me. And I knew I was sensitive, and I've read people's energy, and I could see and understand, and I'd had visions of my life unfold since I was a child. And I also understood that these visions came to be. And so as I was moving, I remember this time, it was, I just quit my first job. I had worked 13 years at my father's company and it was sold. I was pregnant with my second daughter. So I had her when the company was sold. And I had to continue work there after I had my daughter. And I decided to quit. And that was the most freeing experience I've ever in my life till this day experienced. Walking out of that office, um, leaving that day, even though I had two young girls, um, a man, my husband just lost his job. I just quit, no benefits, just said, nope, I'm done with this. I was so, and yeah, and we just bought our new apartment, and we had, you know, financial obligations, and I just quit. And if you think about it from like a human perspective, people would freak out, and people did tell me, you're crazy, you can't do that. But I was like, yes, I have to. It is just the way I have to do it. I have to rip off the bandage. I have to jump in and have to do it. Because then I know that I have to surrender. I have to surrender to what is going on. I have to surrender and accept the situation. And I have to really tune inwards and find my power and tell myself and allow that power to come through me and to get me where I'm supposed to be. And so what happened was that I actually got a new job. The same day as I quit, I got a new job. So 14 days after I quit my job, I actually was in my, at that time, very favorite job of all time, because I had my background in travel agency or the travel industry. So I became a manager for a travel agency in my town. And the fun part with that, there are no coincidences. So when I got there, it turned out that they had to move places. The office had to move. And I was lucky enough to be able to choose where to move at. And I chose this beautiful old building, best in the city. I mean, we were so lucky to get it. People said, you're not going to get it, it's too expensive. And we got it. And the thing was, it was haunted. Who knew, right? But after I went through that experience, having my employees become afraid, there was a lot of things going on. There were magazines being thrown off, catalogs of destinations were thrown off the rack. When we were there, the windows would open, the doors would lock, but people couldn't come in. We had to go and unlock. The computers wouldn't work. The payment system was always down. We had to call the repair guy, and it was nothing wrong. When he comes there, it was nothing wrong. This was like really, really challenging. And suddenly that's when my whole energy shifted, because as I surrendered and I quit that first job, this became, I surrendered to my gifts. I opened up and said, whatever spirit is meant to be, what is meant to be for the highest good will happen. And so I would sit at work, and this energy would stand next to me, this ghost from the astral plane, low vibrational ghost, would stand there and would just stare at me. And he just drained my physical body. I had no clue about any of this. And it was so hard because I actually had to call, after this has been going on for a while, had to call the people who employed me, talk about difficult. And I had to tell them that, you know what? This place is haunted and the employees are afraid. And we don't know what to do. Or at that time, I had already gotten inputs of what I could do. So I was opening up, but I was so tired. So I had to have help and support from other spiritual teachers to actually clear the space. But the hard part was actually people just hired me, and here I am moving this company to this place, and it's haunted. And I have to call them and say, there's ghosts here. And it was really, thinking back, it was maybe the hardest part to embrace my abilities and who I was, to accept truly who I am. And the thing is, it really turned out that I was embraced, that I was being loved for who I was. So it became a blessing after a while. So anyway, let me read what I was supposed to read for you. I'm going to jump. I'm going to read something else because they just told me to read something else. So I'm doing that. So this is the wrong page. It's page 39. Okay. Listen to this. You are all channels of love. Your purpose embodies this love. And to find your purpose and connect with the love, you must first manifest it within yourself, self-love. Only then can your life purpose shine and manifest with strength and power. Your choices become easier, your freedom of choice increases, and your heart becomes joyful. Zarius. So how did I do this? By allowing my gifts. I had to put myself in accept situations just by listening and tuning. I surrendered. I forgave myself. I think forgiveness is the number one thing to do to lift your vibration from what we call the victim state. So it's easier to point fingers and say, they are to blame. My parents did this to me. They did that to me. They think that whatever is out there. But now as an adult, it's you through a different perspective, you understand that everything that you see is a mirror of what's going on in the inside. And our work is to take the responsibility and do the internal cleansing, to take responsibility for the energy that we actually transmit and share with the world. So if I'm in a victim mode and I'm blaming everybody else, that energy is low vibration. That's going to attack someone else. And that is not my intention. I want to be a channel of love. So the first thing is to learn how to forgive yourself for whatever reason, for whatever things that has happened in the past, and forgive others. But the most important thing, forgive yourself first, and to find the possibility for some people to actually forgive others. And then you're lifting your vibration enough to you come and you start reflecting. And now you're trying to control the situation. You're feeling better, and and things are shifting and things are happening. And then, like I said, it was haunted, and I had to really stand up for myself and my employees. So it was not only me, it was happening to them. So I had to take that responsibility. It was my responsibility. I had moved the office. I knew it had to do with me. I was experiencing this, and it was not a good place for me to be. And I wanted to not only protect them, but I had to protect myself as well. For what was this? I had to learn. And so I surrendered. And I surrendered, and I called, them, and they came, and I surrendered to my gift. And that's when you allow. So that's how I lifted myself up. And I said, okay, for the highest good, I do trust, and I'm just going to allow everything to unfold the way it's supposed to. So I had to accept, I had to trust in myself, trust in the power, and then just allow it. And the allowance part is so difficult for the ego mind, because you won't receive or see the learnings until you've jumped. You never know it's outside your comfort zone. Even though I knew that I had abilities and I was comfortable with that within my passions, and I've always been interested in reading about past lives and all that. And so I knew there was more to life than just this life, and to this journey. And since I was a child and had all these energies with me, I've experienced way too much to think that this is it. No, it's always been there's more. I just don't know how to deal with it. And nobody could teach me in where I was, nothing. So it was like simply having to trust and allow my soul to lead the way. And when I allow the highest good to happen, that's when my gift as a channel really flourished. And Zarius said, you're ready to channel. And that's when the torchbearers received this message. So now I'm going to read it from page 33. You are receiving this invitation since you have already seen the light within and understand the value and importance of being one with the light and allowing it to burn as a torch in the dark. This one was the difficult part that time to write, which is coming up. The order has given Enigma, which is my soul name, and Vibeke a task that demand courage and strength. Together they have listened, accepted their calling, and now are demonstrating trust by bringing the order's wisdom to you. It is for this purpose that you are receiving this invitation. We, the Order of Seven, wish to give you the key to the light. Time, as you know, is of importance. We wish to answer your question, and challenge you to become torchbearers and through this, find your calling. So that was my next thing. So when I allowed myself to be that channel of love and to trust in my ability, and I actually quit that job as well. And I didn't get any benefits, even though my boss said you should, go and be on sick leave, whatever, and feel and see if that would help. I said no. I knew what I had to do, and I had to quit my job, and I had to trust and allow guidance of spirit. And the torchbearers came into my life later on when I had actually, when Zarius said, I want to channel through you. This was something they prepared for me. So I started to meditate. I started to open up daily and to embrace that. And so what happened is that there was this TV show in Norway called The Sixth Sense. It's a reality show. So they would bring people together with abilities and they would have a competition. So they would have to deal with different tasks only using their abilities. And so I said to Zarius, I remember this, I said, okay, I will trust in your guidance and I promise to do what you express or to be your channel or the channel for Zarius and the Order 7 if I request that if you want me to do this, I request that you put me on this TV show. I have no prior experience. I've not done any courses. I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just me with my abilities. And if I get on that show, then okay, I promise, that's my promise to you, I will allow the guidance of spirit. And you probably already figured it out. I ended up on the show. I did. Until that day, hey, the guidance of spirit, trust in spirit. I ended up on the show. And that's when I decided to start to channel. And that's when this invitation was actually sent out to this group, Torchbearers. And I must say that the Torchbearers has played the most important part of my life until this part. They have really been a source of love, inspiration, gratitude, joy. I mean, all the beauty, soulful words that I could find, they encompass. They're just, their souls having these people come together and allowing me to be their channel and them trusting in me and allowing me to develop my gift and supporting me as I do that. It's been the greatest gift. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful to every torchbearer that I've had the privilege of working with and walking this path alongside with. It's been beautiful and it's still beautiful. After 11 years now, some of us are still meeting once a month where I channel the order and answer their questions. And I just want to say that this book, Awaken to the Power of the Universe, it's all verbatim, it's channeled by me, but with the assistance of the torchbearers. It's their questions to the order that's in here, and they've done an amazing work assisting me. So this is a work of love, of unconditional love. They've all come together and supported in creating this beautiful book for us to share and for me to share at this moment in time with you so that you can reawaken to your power and to understand that as long as you are tuning inwards, that everything that you need is in here, it's within you, and you have to trust and allow that to come forward. And we're here to support you. I'm here to support you. That is why I'm doing this season of the spiritual quest. I want to help you and support you with teachers, spiritual teachers from all over the world that will take on this topic and support you as you reawaken to the power of the universe. And from all different perspectives. And I think maybe that's the beauty of all of it. So we're all here for the soul expansion. And it's beautiful. And I have so much more I want to share with you. I have stories where I actually took the torchbearer on a trip to Iceland to find the portal to Tresna, guided by spirit. Do you think we found it? I'm saying this is going to blow your mind. Yes, we found the portal. We found it. And I would love to share that story with you, but that will need to be for another episode. And remember, I want to just make sure that I'm doing a live stream now, the Spiritual Quest Masterclass live streams. And next masterclass is actually by me. So I'm diving deeper into the teaching of Zarius and the Order of Seven. I will share more stories. I might just share the story of how we went on a mission to Iceland to actually find the portal of Tresna and what that has, and how that unfolded and what that has led to. Because, like I said, this is a soul led adventure. I'm living from the soul state, allowing the highest good and allowing soul to lead the way. And that is all about trust and allowance and acceptance of who I am. So find your authentic voice and just become the co-creator with the universe and create your dreams. It's up to you. Honestly, it's just up to you. And I would love to support you as you move forward doing that. So before I end this episode, I'd like to thank you. Thank you for sharing this space with me. I'm grateful for that and for opening up and tuning in and listening to my story. I hope it inspired you, and I want you to know that I'm cheering you on as well. So if you resonate with this episode, I hope you'll share it. And not only that, join me for the next live stream masterclass, and I will teach more about this topic of reawakening and sharing messages from my spiritual team. So make sure, if you haven't signed up for the Spiritual Quest Newsflash, then do so and you get notified when we go live. You'll find the link in the episode description. So thank you again for joining me, sending you lots of love and light from me, your host, Vibeke Garnos, and my spiritual team, Zarius and the Order of Seven, always guided by Spirit. Bye now.